Shalom, shalom. Before I do anything, I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahawashi, by Hashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the Apostle Nels Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to you, brothers, pushing this truth throughout the four winds. So today, I want to go into basically meditating terror and wanting to see destruction of Babylon. Okay, we should consistently and constantly be in prayer for the downfall of this place because we know it's greater things to come. Okay, so this is Genesis 27 and 39. It says, "And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. And thy sword shall thou live, and shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from thy neck." So that word sword is like knife, sword, knife, tool for cutting stone, to be waste, to lay waste, desolate, be in ruins. So we understood from Jump Street that Esau's blessing always came with carnality. So he was going to be carnal. And that's the thing we have to stay away from. Everything with us is spiritual, okay? Has to be spiritual. So understanding this, we understand when we go to 1 Maccabees, starting at chapter 1, verse 1. It says, "And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece, and made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him." So we understood his blessing when he came back into power. All he knew was carnality, to fight, and that's how Esau is today. Jake talking about picking up arms, man. This is their blessing from the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand that we're going to meditate terror and pray because vengeance is for Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi. Okay. It says, quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. So he was proud, very proud. You can see it in Esau's spirit today. They're very proud. Okay. It said, and he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. Okay. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that thou should die. Wherefore he called his servants and said such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them, okay, while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And his servants bare rule, every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And the evils were multiplied in the earth, and there came out of them a wicked root. Okay? Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus, the king, who had been an hostage at Rome, and he reigned in 37 years of the kingdom of the Greeks. So he was very, very wicked in his rule. He was very wicked. Okay? So just to get a foundation of things, understanding that if Yahweh Hashem Yahawashi blessed these people with being carnal, being everything with them is fighting and violence with guns. That's what the sword was. They can't fight. You know, Esau can't fight. But the thing is, they look at them the way they hunt. They specialize in these guns and things like that. You know, that's the only thing they know. They only know violence. Every time they do something, they come in with deceit and violence. Okay, this is Ecclesiastes 3:1. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which was planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep, a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time of love and a time of hate. A time of war and a time of peace. So I went through those to show the balance in everything with Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. You have to understand everything is in balance. So picking up arms, as you can see some of these camps, they're running around with their guns and they're talking about they want a war and this and that. And the Lord basically told them, wait upon me. Okay, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So it's a time to do all of these things, and we understand it's not the time to be trying to pick up guns. We need to be locked in spiritually and mentally, you know, because this warfare is not carnal. It's not carnal, it's spiritual. Okay? Ephesians 4:6. There is one body and one spirit, even as ye are called in hope of your calling. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one power and Father of all, who is above and all, and through all, and ye, well, and in you all. So everybody that's of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is going to be like-minded. Nobody's going to be carnal to where we're picking up guns. You know that's a carnal-minded leader and a carnal-minded group if they're picking up arms and trying to fight Esau with what Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua blessed him with as his specialty. Okay? This is Matthew 28:18. It says, and Yahushua came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. So the order of doing these things has to be followed through Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Okay? And he said, wait upon me. So he didn't say, I'm going to give you power and you're going to pick up Esau's blessing and rule over him with that. That's not what he said. Okay, this is John 17:9. It says, I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine, and all mine are thine, and thine are mine, and I am glorified in them. So it tells you basically these men are going to be in the same mind frame. They're going to think spiritually. They're not going to be carnal, and it's all going to be a togetherness. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a oneness in everything to where they think in a mind frame of we have to wait on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Okay? This is John 17:21. It says that they all may be one. And this is one mind frame. Okay? As thou, Father, are in me, and I in thee, that they also may be one in us. Okay? That the world may believe that thou hast sent me, and the glory which thou gavest me, I have given them, that they may be one, even as we are one. Okay, it's the mind frame. It's nothing to do with being physical. It's the way that the spirit moves keeps you in a certain mind frame. Okay, I in them and thou in me, that they may be made perfect in one. Okay, in that spirit, and that the world, Salakia, and that the world may know that thou hast sent me and hast loved them, thou hast loved me. Father, I will that they also whom thou hast given me be with me where I am, that they may behold my glory which thou hast given me, for thou lovest me before the foundation of the world. So he's really basically saying the way and the order of everything that you gave me, I'm passing it to them. Yahweh Shem Yahushua wasn't carnal, because when he was on the cross, if he was carnal, he could have called a legion of angels to do what? Handle everybody that was there. But he didn't. He understand it was more spiritual than anything. Okay? This is 1 John 2 and 6. He saith, he abideth in him, ought himself also so to walk even as he walked. So if you're going to be a part of the body of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you need to act in the same mind frame that he acted. You know, he wasn't in no carnal mind frame going around picking up arms and doing all these things. He was more spiritual. Okay, he did physical miracles, but everything was spiritual, and that's the spirit that he left on his men, to be spiritual. Okay, 1 Corinthians 11, start at 1, it says, be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Hamashiach. Okay, now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I deliver them to you. So, through every reincarnation, every regeneration, whatever you want to call it, the spirit was passed to men to be a certain way. And you were to remember that way, not to get carnal. You know, it tells you to agree with thine adversary quickly. You can get carnal, but what does that lead to? That leads to you basically being in a situation you wouldn't be in if you weren't carnal. Okay? Galatians 3 and 27. For as many of you as have been baptized into Hamashiach, put on Hamashiach. So put on the thought process and the way that Yahweh Shai walked. Okay? Put on that spirit of, I'm not going to be carnal. Let the spirit guide you and not being carnal. Okay? Proverbs 6 and 16. These 6 things doth Yahweh Shem Yahushua hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that deviseth wicked imagination, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. So, these things, the Lord hates these things, you know? And the things that he basically saying is basically avoiding carnality. Don't be carnal, okay? Speak in spirit, like be in the spirit. The way you think, have the way you think be in a mind frame of wanting the downfall of this place, but not doing nothing physical, being spiritual with it. Malachi 1, 2 and 3, it says, I have loved you, said Yahweh Shem Yahushua, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Said Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Now, when we go back, when we understand that Alexander, when we read it in First Maccabees in the beginning, the Lord hated Esau, because we understand that Esau was set up to be carnal. The Lord doesn't like carnality. Okay? Don't ever be carnal. Never fight a battle carnally, because when you do that, that basically tells you that you don't have no control of your emotion. And men shouldn't be emotional. Okay? We use logic and we think. Okay? Romans 9:13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Why? Because Esau is a carnal being. Think about how Esau does everything. It first starts off with what? Deception. Getting you to like him. Look at the movie Sinners. Look how, I think his name was Remy or whatever, the lead vampire. He always led with having a slick tongue and coming in with deception. But once he got in, what did he do? He devoured. Okay? And that's how he gets Jake. He'll bait Jake in and make everything look so like enticing and inviting. But the whole time, what was behind all of that was carnality. Okay? So we need to know we're not ignorant to Satan's devices. Okay? Amos 5:15. Hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that the Lord, power of hosts, will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph. Okay? Hate the evil but love the good. Okay, 18, it says, woe unto them that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. So, being spiritual and being carnal is something we don't need to be, well, being carnal is something we don't need to be engaging in. Okay? You can hate the good, but you know what I'm saying? It says, be angry but sin not. So, we have to understand we can be really disliking of this place. I mean, who would like being in captivity? Who would like knowing that you have royalty flowing through your blood and your bloodline, but in reality, you're still a slave? Okay? And the thing is, we have to get the carnal side of it, even though sometimes we get to a place to where it's like, you really hate it here. You know, but we don't go out and do nothing carnal. We pray in the spirit for a spirit of dealing with it. Okay? Romans 12:9. Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good. And carnality, cleaving into carnality isn't a good thing. Okay? So, we can't be in a place of thinking that I have to think like Esau. Okay? Romans 7:12. Wherefore the law is holy, and commandment holy, and just and good. Okay? You ain't gonna find a commandment that tells you to go out and pick up arms and fight against Esau. That's carnal. That's not, that's not lawful. Okay? John 9:31. Now, we know that the Most High heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshiper of the Most High, and doeth this, will him he heareth. Lucky. I'm right by an airport. So, when you do the things that Yahweh Shem Yahushai has you do, flowing in the spirit, he's going to hear your prayers, and he's going to work with you. But when you're carnal, he will not dwell in a malicious spirit. You know what I'm saying? He won't be dwell in you if you think and move a certain way. You can't be a niggard. I'll say that. Okay? Psalms 40:8. I delight to do thy will, O my power. Yea, thy law is within my heart. So in the mind, and our minds, keeping these commandments, praying to the name Yahweh Shem Yahshua, staying in the spirit and not getting carnal, that's the will of the Father and Yahweh Shem Yahshua, okay? Psalms 5:5. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity. How's iniquity worked? Through being physical, okay? If you're walking in the spirit, certain things aren't going to have an effect on you. Okay? This is Sirach 12:6. For the Most High hateth sinners and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. So they're going to be reserved, being carnal and thinking like the world, for a certain punishment. Okay? Psalms 5:4. For thou art not a power that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. So he's telling you and letting you know, when this spirit flows in you, you're not going to be carnal. You're not going to think carnal. You're not going to move carnal. Everything with you is going to be spirit. And people are going to see that light in you to where it's spiritual, you know? You'll know them by their fruits. If their fruits are, well, let's everybody go out and get AR-15s or whatever, then you'll know it's like, do you truly trust in Yahweh Shem Yahshai if you're picking up arms and going into Esau's blessing? Okay? This is Luke 14:26. If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. So it's telling you that not to think in a mind frame of how the world thinks, because when you do that, feelings and emotions come about, okay? And you don't want to ever deal in a place of feelings and emotions. That'll get you put away real quick, okay? Psalms 139:21. Do not I hate them, O Yahweh Shem Yahshua, that hate thee? And am I not I grieved with those that rise up against thee? I hate them with a perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. Search me, O Yahweh Shem Yahshua, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. So he's basically saying, search out me and see if it's anything carnal in me that needs to be checked. Okay? Anything that needs to be checked, I need to remove. Okay? Jeremiah 44:4. Howbeit, I sent you all my servants, the prophets, rising early and sending them, saying, oh, do not this abominable thing that I hate. And what is that? That's anything going against the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahshai, which is being carnal. Okay? It's Isaiah 33:18. Thine heart shall meditate terror. Okay? Where is the scribe? Where is the receiver? Where is he that counted the towers? Okay? So don't ever put yourself in a place of thinking in the physical. Okay? Never put yourself in where you're thinking in the physical when it comes to this walk with Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Be like a spirit or a person that's able to be led of the spirit. Okay? So you don't want to think carnally. Okay? Sirach 12:7. Given to the good, and help not the sinner. Okay? So you don't want to be in a mind frame of being in a thought process of carnality. You know, I'm gonna beat the dead horse. You cannot think like a carnal man thinks, because we aren't set up to be carnal. We're set up to be spiritual men. You know, like just being on social media and watching a lot of these camps, man, they're super carnal. Marching in the streets, marching through parks where Esau is, to basically put on a show with their guns and their militant mind frame. That's too carnal. Like, Yahweh Shem Yahshua didn't set that up like that. Let's be carnal and walk through here. If you ever noticed with Yahweh Shai, when he walked everywhere, a lot of times he'll do things, he'll be like, and he'll say, I did it. Just basically chill out on it. You ain't got to run and tell everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because he was in a place of being spiritual. He wasn't carnal at all. You know what I'm saying? He just did the things he was supposed to do, and he just kept it pushing. Okay? Through the Spirit, I pray that this was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahshua by Hashem Rakah HaKadosh.